Adam never wanted to move. The new house was huge, old, and smelled like dust and forgotten things. His parents called it a fixer-upper, but to Adam, it just felt broken. The first night, he lay in his new room, surrounded by unpacked boxes, when he heard it a whisper, like wind through a keyhole, but clearer. It seemed to say his name, Adam. He sat up, heart pounding. It was probably just the old house settling, he told himself. But the whispers didn't stop. They became a constant, faint murmur at the edge of his hearing. Days turned into a week. The whispers grew more distinct, weaving themselves into the creaks of the floorboards and the rattle of the window panes. They told him secrets about the house. They told him about the loose brick in the fireplace where a silver locket was hidden. He found it tarnished and cold. They told him which floorboard in the hallway groaned the loudest. They knew everything. Adam started talking back, first in his head, then in soft whispers of his own. He was lonely, and the house, in its strange way, felt like a friend. His parents just saw him talking to himself, another quirk of the weird kid they didn't quite understand. The house had one place it hadn't shown him yet, the basement. The door was in the kitchen, thick and oak with a heavy iron lock. His parents had warned him to stay out. "It's not safe down there," his dad had said. But the whispers were insistent. "Come down, Adam. We have something to show you. A gift." The promise of a gift, something just for him, was too tempting. One afternoon, when he was home alone, he found the key hanging on a dusty hook he'd never noticed before. The whispers guided his hand. "That's it, Adam, come see." The lock turned with a rusty shriek. A wave of cold, musty air rolled up the stairs, carrying the scent of damp earth and something else. Something metallic and sweet. He hesitated, but the voices were soothing, persuasive. "Don't be afraid. We're your friends." He took a step down, then another, his hand trailing along the damp stone wall. The darkness was absolute until a single, bare bulb flickered to life, casting long, dancing shadows. The basement was vast, filled with forgotten furniture covered in white sheets. Like a graveyard of a forgotten family, the whispers urged him toward the far corner, to a spot where the stone floor was darker, stained. "Look, Adam, your gift." There was nothing there, just the cold, hard floor. He felt a pang of disappointment. "Where is it?" he whispered aloud. Suddenly, the whispers stopped. The silence was deafening, heavier than any sound he'd ever heard. The single bulb overhead began to swing, faster and faster, making the shadows writhe and twist like living things. One shadow detached from the wall. It wasn't a shadow of any object. It was tall and thin, a distorted human shape with no features, just a solid patch of deeper black. Panic seized him. He tried to run, but his feet felt like they were glued to the floor. The shadow creature glided towards him, silent and smooth. It didn't have a face, but he could feel it watching him, feel its ancient hunger. As it drew closer, the cold intensified, seeping into his bones. The air grew thick, and he couldn't draw a breath. He opened his mouth to scream, but no sound came out. The shadow flowed over him, an icy flood of pure darkness. It poured into his mouth, his eyes, his very soul. For a moment, there was blinding pain, then a nothing. Later, his mom called down the basement stairs. "Adam, dinner's ready." A moment passed, and then footsteps began to climb the stairs. Adam emerged from the doorway, blinking in the kitchen light. He smiled at his mom, but the smile didn't reach his eyes. They were cold and empty, like a stranger was looking out from behind them. "Coming, Mom," he said, his voice perfectly normal. But as he walked past her towards the dining room, she could have sworn she heard another voice, a faint whisper trailing behind him, saying, "Finally, home."